What is up? Real quick, this is a very special Reviews with Crystal video because I was joined by two very special and awesome guests. Jay Sandlin, who is a comic writer, a writer. He's got a really great podcast called What Happens Next. Check him out. His information will be in the video and down in the description below. And Sin, who has also written a ton of books. She's got just so much comic knowledge as well. She's a great writer. She's an editor. And we discussed The Boys TV show, and it was a lot of fun. So if you like these videos, make sure that you are smacking that subscribe button. Give it a retweet or a share over on your Facebook or your Twitter or whatever it is that you share stuff. And always visit me on my website. That's crystalsimagination.com for more content from me. Or you can just check it out here on the YouTube channel. Whatever you like. It's cool. But enjoy this review. We had a great time talking about The Boys TV show. We definitely give it 2 thumbs up with some minor grievances. But you'll hear all about that in the video. Enjoy. Don't hide, Jay. We're live now. Everybody can see you. What's up, family? Welcome to Reviews with Crystal Live. We are here on Mixer, or if you're not here with us live on Mixer, you missed out on a good time because you missed us live. But you can come hang out with us by going to mixer.com/crystalstorm. Or if you're listening to the recording, then you'll just have to listen to the recording, and then you'll just, it's just sad. I'm just saying that if you're not live with us, it's just sad. You screwed up. You screwed up, but it's okay. I am joined by the very awesome, I know. I'm going to let them introduce themselves because I'm joined by Jay and Sin, and they're like my peoples. They're fantastic. I met Jay on Who Would Win. And then we decided we wanted to hang out more because we liked each other. Not like that. Don't be dirty. And then he introduced me to Sin, who I like more than Jay. And so here we are.
Fair enough. That's fair enough.
That's fair enough. All right.
I don't know.
It's cool. Jay, go first. Introduce yourself to the live audience. Go.
Oh. I am a business owner and professional writer. I'm writing a comic book series right now for Mad Cave Studios, the first of which will be available in December, the second in March, and the third is TBD. And in addition to that, I have my podcast, Jay Sandlin's What Happens Next. You can tune in, and you never know quite what you're going to get, but here recently we've had a few panels with some well-known writers like Paul Jenkins, Rodney Barnes, and J.M. DeMatteis of Spider-Man fame. Yeah. There are no rules. There is no format. The only thing you can count on is you'll never guess what happens next.
I want to hear that in a commercial one day because it's good. That little tagline, it's a really
good.
Me
too.
And it's very true. He's not lying.
True.
You have no idea.
And whoever says it has to be wearing a fedora.
Yes, fedoras, yes. Okay, Sing,
There's
go.
nothing I love more than Crystal and her fedora.
Dad's so sweet. I need that. I'm making that a sound effect. That's happening. That's happening. All right, Sin, go. Tell us all the things.
So, Sonara Trigarth, you can find me at sonara.com. I am an author, multi-published, 20 plus books, editor and writer still, and edit what's his nuts over there.
That J
and guy. Yeah, that J guy. And lately I've been working on an editing course and a writer's course and doing other sorts of fun and loving stuff, including getting settled in my new place behind me.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm thrilled to have her because and we're working together daily on editing, businesses, and just having a good time.
They're 2 peas
editing. And something else that we love to do, of course, is watch our favorite shows, one of which we just finished binge watching here that we're going to talk about tonight.
That is it.
Yeah.
That is it. All right. So the Plan fam. And by the way, I am Crystal. So if it's your first time popping in on Mixer, what is up? Welcome on in. I stream, I podcast, I game. I am also a writer. I have 2 science fiction books out. I am working on my 3rd one. The website is 90% done, so it's done enough. Go to crystalsimagination.com. You'll find all the writing things. You can follow along as I write my third book. I am sharing my entire creative process with you, from the rough drafts that apparently you're supposed to show anybody, to the polished manuscript, to the brainstorming, the author notes, the whole fucking thing. I'm sharing it. Fuck it, I'm doing it. So you'll find all that over on the website.
Ooh,
we are here.
Editor notes.
Yeah, all of them. We are here live on Mixer Sunday, Mondays. We're over on Twitch on Wednesdays. What is up, family in the chat? I gotta give shout outs. Bander and Camu's here. My girlfriend's here. Pixel's here. Hey, girl, hey. Tex here. What's up, everybody? All right, we're gonna talk about The Boys TV show because this show was awesome. And I enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah.
I enjoyed the crap out of it. Now, I'm not a comic person, so there's a couple things you know. One, I'm not a comic person. Two, I'm terrible with names. So as we review this show, I'm going to be like that guy. And then Sin and Jay will give me the name of that person that I'm talking about. Because I just, whatever. Y'all, I don't do names. I don't remember. Like, I'm so bad with names. So we're going to try to do spoiler-free for like the first 15 minutes. We're going to try. Keyword is try, and then we're just gonna spoil the hell out of the TV series.
Who's gonna be spoiler free? Because that ain't us.
I know we're gonna give it a good shot. So let's try to do it this way. I'm gonna start with you this time, Sin. Give us an overview of the Boys TV show for those who haven't watched it, and tell me what you thought. Rate it for me.
Okay, so basically, it is your morality play of superheroes, of what they would actually be like in real life when you let just anybody become a superhero and you haven't psychologically evaluated them for this purpose. So basically, yeah, it is the ultimate test of what you believe a superhero is or should be. And the reality is not what you think it is. And it's awesome, actually. I mean, if you're looking at like a grading scale of like 1 to 10, it's at least a 9.7, 9.8. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because the books themselves are really highly rated as well, too. So, I mean, they've been popular for years.
Nice. Okay. Overall, what did you think of the show? Like, if you could give it like 1 to 10, where are you at with it?
About 9. I mean, there were a couple things here and there that I would glitch on, but yeah. But that's because the editor in me catches that.
I'm gonna let Sin edit my books too, and she's gonna yell at me a lot. I just know it. I'm ready for it. I'm good. Jay, did you read the comics? I watched your mouth move, but I didn't hear him. Did you hear him? I didn't hear him.
Me neither. No.
Say it again, Jay.
Not read the comics.
Okay, you did not read the comics. Okay, so what did you think of the show? How would you rate it?
I would actually, for what it was and what it set out to do and the story that it set out to tell, I would give it a 10 out of 10. Even being really picky. I just feel like the characters all had very strong voice. I too am kind of bad with names for some characters, but it was easy to actually remember the characters' names because they were all so distinct.
You had trouble with names during this show.
She's called him out already.
Easy for me. I did have trouble. I did have trouble, but that doesn't mean it wasn't easy for to learn the names. Even though we kept calling the one, Wild Woman, and I never learned her real name.
Maeve?
But to be fair, she never...
No,
not Maeve. The one they found.
Oh,
yeah. What was her name?
She didn't have a name.
No, she did. Kimiko.
But
yes, that was it.
We
finally figured out her name because of the French guy. We're gonna be so pro.
Frenchie.
The French guy. Frenchie. That's it.
And I also have to give there's lots of props for the costuming. I thought that all the costumes were great. I loved Starlight's gear, especially the story that they told with her costume. When she shows up, she's this Midwestern, beauty pageant circuit superhero, because that's the thing in this world. And that was such a great way of showing the world where people with superpowers go on like these pageant circuits trying to get themselves hired by
this corporation that apparently owns superheroes, which I thought was very realistic in how it would go. I mean, if the government didn't jump on that, then some giant corporation absolutely would have, where they're just
Somebody would
right.
have to, somebody
somebody
have
would
to own, have to
absolutely.
hire them and whatever to
Which one is
parcel them out.
scarier? That's the thing. Which
That's
would
a
you rather
good
have your
question.
superheroes or owned by corporations or by governments? That's a good
Ooh.
question to ask the people.
Guys, chat, go. Who would you
Yeah.
rather? So, if superheroes were just normal people who woke up and had superpowers, would you rather they were owned by corporations or governments? If you're listening to this as a podcast or on the YouTube channel, tweet at us. Tell us. There'll be
So you might as
information.
well ask them, would you rather be shoved with a red hot poker up your eye hole?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really loved that the idea that these superheroes were flawed and fucked up. And I almost thought that they went a little bit far on the fucked up side, but I got it, because I would like to think, and maybe this is just the optimist in me, but I would like to think that there would have been more superheroes that were kind of like Starlight, that were not just emotionally completely, I don't even know what the word is, but they're just like, wow,
Naive.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, you know what I think it is like what Maeve said. You know, she started out the same way that Starlight did, but as
True.
time went on,
True, it's that corporate life, and you see that too when people who are just enter in a corporate America environment, just as far as business. You walk in with the best of intentions, but that just environment just wears you down. It's true, Bander. Moral compass fuckery ensues. What's up, Rapper Don? Neither your team captain guy. Okay, you're a team captain guy. Okay.
I think that's a Civil War reference, but
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's
America
true in a lot of ways.
is very much of a government creation, and I do think between the two, governments are probably the preferred. Only if it's the federal government, not state governments.
No.
I don't see. For me, that would. I'm just thinking about our current government, and I'm like, nah.
Crystal.
Yeah.
I have one word for you.
Okay.
Skeletor.
Okay.
Okay, if Skeletor was in charge of superheroes when he was our governor.
Yeah.
Okay, enough said.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But
that's
you see,
true.
the federal government
really
has to at least concern itself with votes and voters,
No.
and corporations only, have to worry about profits.
But I don't think that's true. I don't believe that's true, and I don't want to get too political. But if you just look at our current current climate in America, would you really want the government in charge of superheroes at this point in time right now?
But
Current climate sustainable.
Well,
yeah, and that's the big thing.
Yeah, you know what? I'd almost rather it was like state by state, because at least then you might have I mean, sure, the superheroes in Florida might be fucking crazy, but maybe the ones in California a little less so.
But see, but then you get into the whole idea of the National Guard system, which then you're talking about. You still have an oversight that if anything does happen, they still all get pulled by the federal government.
I'm in Alabama, and do you know how many of our former most recent governors are in prison right now?
Oh God!
Yes.
Oh no!
Enough.
Yeah, the last one had to leave because he would have ended up in there. So, and actually, yeah, what we just the comment there from Bandersnatz. Yes, instead of the army, it would be supers deploying to Iraq, which was exactly the big plot of
that
the
was
boys.
One of the storylines. They were the corporation was trying to you want defensive contracts, all that stuff. So they were trying to get their supers in the military, and that was one of the overarching plots of the season. That how they were going to go about doing that.
And how
did very well. I thought the show did very well with big picture stuff like that, and then the interpersonal relationships with characters like Starlight. And to go back to what you said, Crystal, because I didn't want to gloss over it, I think that there were other superheroes who probably gave a shit, but the story was set with like this world's version of the Justice League, the Seven.
Yes,
they've got the big job. You're not going to get the big job if you don't toe the corporate line.
That is true. That is true. So that they did a great job with world building that, and I like how they introduced that as well. And I also I thought he's like the main character, and I don't know his name, and I love him.
Homelander?
Nope, not him. He's fucking crazy. I hate him.
Would she love Homelander? Are you serious?
Jesus, stop.
You mean
no. I mean the guy who lost his girlfriend.
Butcher.
Huey.
Butcher or Huey?
No,
Huey. Butcher's a little crazy. I like Butcher, but he's a little crazy.
Butcher was kind of cool.
Yeah, so the boys is really about this group of normal humans that are basically just tired of the superhero shit. Like, the superheroes get away with so much stuff. And this isn't really a spoiler, because it happens literally in the first episode. This normal dude who, he's not really brave. He kind of lets people walk all over him, but he's got a girlfriend, and they're just walking down the fucking street, and they're just standing there having this really cute, like, fluffy moment, and this superhero comes out of nowhere and runs through her, and she explodes. Like, literally.
And he's left holding her hands.
Like, literally, that's it. Just her hands. That's all he's got left. And the superhero doesn't, he, like, just pretty much says, my bad, and keeps going. And nothing
he's like
happens.
The Flash wannabe.
That was literally it. Like, my
And then
bad.
he had the nerve later that I swallowed her molar.
Oh, that was nasty.
Like,
oh my god, he was such a dick. He was such a dick.
Oh, he was like dick personified. I was
Oh
like,
my God.
he gotta go.
Yeah, he definitely had to go. He definitely had to go. So I
Sure.
thought it did that world building of like normal people having to deal with, you know, superheroes and just the consequences of when they screw up, and they screw up a lot, which again I thought was very realistic. If you just gave some normal people who have no like understanding of like hostage negotiation or tactics or anything, some superpowers, they just go in and think if they just laser beam something or throw somebody through a car, that's it. That's how you handle things. And I thought that was a really good, real quick, that was a really good callback to Spider-Man. I thought the Spider-Man Homecoming, where he was like trying to figure out how to be a superhero and had no freaking idea. So it's just like having superpowers doesn't mean you know how to handle situations.
Yeah. No training
like
school for them.
much like Starlight, who had gone her whole life trying to prepare to be a superhero, then got there and realized she had no idea what the superheroes actually did, like what it meant to be a superhero.
It's true. Yeah, that's
Getting
at least in
called by
that
the
world.
cameras and the whole up a point, down a point for your overarching, series and all this other stuff. The points regarding your character stuff and all the pitches and stuff. It was like, yeah, that's just crazy nonsense. But
And
it's
one
part
thing
and parcel
about
of what they do.
thing about it would be that it's probably the closest adaptation to how I really think superheroes would go over in the real world, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah, not so much. I think you definitely want your superheroes to not be bought by either. You'd want them to be the Captain Americas or like the Supermen who are just like, I'm not affiliated with any of you. I'm just going to go by my own moral compass. And you want to trust them to be able to do that. But if superheroes are just being... we're just going to go spoilers. Spoiler time. If spoiler time, you've been warned, spoiler time right now. If superheroes are being made, then we're screwed. We're so
Well,
screwed.
think about it. In the 30s and 40s, there was the genetics experiments. There were the eugenics type that were set up, even here in the United States. So
Eugenics wars, and then you remember that happened in Star Trek.
yes, well, but the thing is there were actually things here that were done with colonization
Says
in
he
regards
will
to
jump in the line to be a but what's going to happen when you come out looking like the creature from the Black Lagoon?
Yeah,
you know,
I know.
They
Careful
just want
what
love.
you wish for, Bander. Careful what you wish for.
They just want love.
Yeah, you know what? And they did a great job of painting how screwed up it is to be a super owned by a corporation when Starlight was literally just saving this girl from being raped, and then they yelled at her for it. They're like, no, you can't do that. Because the two guys who were the attempted rapists were pretty much like, nah, we weren't trying to do anything, and she just came out of nowhere and beat us up.
And because she didn't get the name of the girl, so there was nobody to be on her side of things. It was like,
exactly.
I was like, okay, as somebody who's a rape survivor, that's bullshit.
Right.
That's fucking bullshit. And this is why women don't come forward.
It's exactly why. That's exactly why.
And that was
and the show mentioned that. You remember that was what the PR person said. You said if she comes forward, which odds say she probably won't.
Yep.
I have a big crush on Starlight now. I have to be honest.
Starlight's awesome.
She's
Yeah,
um
she's good.
that
And
was
what about
back to
Maeve?
the well, no, I was going to talk about Starlight's costuming because it's not really a
Yeah.
spoiler, but after this
Yeah.
incident we're talking about where she stops the rapist, they give her this new costume.
Oh my god.
And her first costume was kind of conservative. She had the skirt, the cape.
It was
It was
cute.
like Supergirl. It was like
yeah,
a Supergirl
it's like
costume.
yeah.
Actually like
It's
Mary
cute.
Marvel.
Yeah, it
Captain
was.
Marvel family. And
Yeah.
that which made me think wholesome family values in her costume. And then they give her, she looks like I mean, she's not quite Vampirella or anything, but it was a much
No,
more
but it
revealing
was
costume.
Oh, absolutely it was.
Like a Wonder Woman kind of type-ish.
And she's like, I'm not wearing that.
yeah, and they're like, no, you're gonna. They were like, if you want to be a part of the Seven, you're gonna. So they did a really good job with her arc, I thought.
They did awesome.
It was great.
I also
what about
thought they did a really good job with the normals, with the regular humans trying to fight these supers. I thought the task felt big and almost impossible because I'm sitting here thinking, okay, Homelander's like Superman. Where is somebody's got to have some fucking kryptonite because this dude.
If he has kryptonite, I don't know if he does.
Do we? Because we still don't know yet.
We do know that like Superman can't see through lead. They mentioned that Homelander can't.
He can't sink.
Yep.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
That was cool.
Most pennies since the 80s have been made out of zinc.
Yep.
So
need a lot more pennies.
For him, something.
I don't like him. No,
I don't imagine that anybody should like him because he's a sociopath, and I feel bad for him to a point because a little bit because he was that. So the horrible thing that's going on here in this world is why superheroes are coming out left and right is because they're lying to people and they're literally injecting them with this compound that turns them into the superpowered people sometimes. And they're telling them that it's like a vaccine. So it's being shipped under the guise of a vaccine so you can just pretend that God gave you superpowers and you're not being made. Well, Homelander is fucking crazy because he was actually grown up in a lab. And I thought it was very cool that scene that he has with the doctor where he confronts him about the baby mama stuff that drove me crazy, but whatever. He confronts him and the dude was like, this is what happens when people grow up without a mother. When they're just, when there's no level of like nurturing or love, they're crazy like you are.
Well, it's kind of what really kind of got me about that is if you think about the setting of that time frame had to be 60s or so. There had been experiments back in 1919, 1920, in the 30s done in Russia and here in the US of babies who were kept away from parents, were barely touched. Those babies failed to thrive.
Oh, wow.
So they already had studies on that for 70 years.
Was the purpose of that study to see if the babies would start speaking the original human language?
No, it was more of the idea of
It was one of the rumors I heard for why they did that.
Yeah, no.
That's
it
really
was more of the idea of if they could raise more of them without parents because of the Russian Revolution. Also for the fact that there were high orphanage rates at that time due to the Spanish influenza, plus a few other factors here in the US as well as overseas. So what ended up happening is they found out that without regular stimulation and being held, without being mothered, these kids were failing to thrive, becoming psychotic, and were killing themselves and killing each other.
Well,
when they got older.
And then you gave a child like this superpowers. What's up, bro Fuchsius, by the way? Welcome on in.
So yeah, I mean, it was bad.
So
Homelander liked regular stimulation from Elizabeth Shue.
Well, yes, he did.
God.
Yes, he did.
Who is gorgeous, by the way.
She
like
is gorgeous.
I would.
Yeah, she's
a karate tournament for her.
I
would fucking All Valley tournament for her, like right now.
Like right now, look at Chase. Like right now, I will fucking turn in the Karate Kid for her. Yeah, that was, you know what? That was literally my only complaint with the show is because I am so freaking over and now he's a baby daddy storyline. I can see it being, so what you find out in this series is, again, we're spoiler territory here, people, is one of the boys, one of the guys who is dead set on getting these suits.
Butcher.
Butcher. He's kind of crazy, and I completely understand why he's a little crazy.
It's Carl Urban. Let him be crazy.
I know, that's true. That's true. That's true. So, Too Long Didn't Read version, he had a wife. The wife was working for the corporation. She had a moment with Homelander. Apparently, Homelander raped her. He thought that she was dead and gone, like she's been MIA for years. When you come to find out that Homelander did rape her, or maybe not. Homelander says it was consensual, but don't they all? Whatever. So...
3 hours, and she did not look that she was that happy when she walked out of the office. Yeah, sorry.
That's what I... Whatever, but okay. Right. Allegedly. Anyway, you raped her, motherfucker. Anyway, but then it turns out that she wasn't really dead, and she has raised his baby, who is super powered like he is, and that will turn into an interesting storyline if it comes out that he's going to be like the one that maybe can stop Homelander, because Homelander is the Superman of this universe, and we ain't got no kryptonite. So I don't know what we're gonna do about Homelander. Right. So then it could be interesting. Other than that, I was just like, I'm so tired of that. I'm so tired of when you find out, oh my God, she wasn't really dead, and now he's a father. And I thought, I'm over that storyline. I'm just over it.
I was like, this is a bad romance novel gone really super fucking bad.
That's where I'm at with it.
I was like, this is like the billionaire baby stories that you. Except now these are really bad super babies. So.
Yeah.
Speaking of magic babies, I wanted to talk about Christianity.
Oh. Okay.
I knew this was...
I'm ready. I have issues with the raising of the baby. Well, I don't know if they offered her money bander or if they threatened her. We don't know what happened there. All we know
we don't know yet.
She literally left a very loving husband and just dipped and never saw her. Years passed, and he went fucking nuts trying to figure out how to get these super people. So
they said she sat in the park for 3 hours, and all of a sudden she was gone,
and then she was just gone. So
yeah,
well done segue. Go Jay, we'll talk about Christianity. I'm ready. Where'd Jay go?
Power flicked it on his end. So
okay. It's awesome too, because on the video, his pose, like where his camera froze, is it's fucking perfect.
It is so him.
so perfect. So
it's so him. It is so him. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, there were a lot of good. I liked how they got rid of the Invisible Man.
Dude, C4 up the ass. I mean,
dude, that's freaking awesome. That's what I was thinking too, though. The whole time he was in the cage, I'm like, well, if you can't do anything with his skin, his intestines are fine. So I'm like, just shove some shit down his throat.
Well, yeah.
I'm like, just
make him swallow.
Right. LOL, make him swallow. Well, you've been knocked up with super sperm and your kid can melt steel. You kind of want to go away. Talk about terrible tooth. That's what I'm saying.
Dude, I mean, right?
What do you do when your superpowered 2-year-old has a temper tantrum and they have laser eyes? Like, how does that work? That's crazy.
I mean, how do you fight when your 2-year-old who is super powered? Because remember those little babies? Remember the fight scene?
Oh my God!
He tries to squeeze his belly to make him work. Shoot the lasers out of his eyes.
There is this amazing fight scene.
It is like the
best. My God, it's so good. It's so good. There is. Oh, see now, Jay, because Jay is left, he screwed up the whole camera thing because he's not in the Discord anymore. So now
how rude!
I know he's completely screwed up your view. Hey, damn it, Jay. Wait, all right.
Damn you, Jay.
Damn it, Jay. Hang on. Nope, that's you. Hang on. I have to get rid of him because now your elbow is just in the other screen, which is fucking hilarious. It's literally. Damn it, Jay. Wait. I know.
It's like, Jay, get out.
I know. Jay's always screwing stuff up.
But we love him.
I know. We do. We do love him. You can't help but love
him.
the Jay. Wait, I have to find your address.
Shoot, I drove 13 fucking hours from Orlando area all the way up to Alabama to work for his sorry ass. So,
That's
yeah.
serious. That's love. We're just gonna have like half of you on the screen because I have a feeling he's gonna
Okay.
come back.
Well, I told him to come back. I told him to come back. So
Before I fix everything, we're gonna leave. So you're kind of like half on the screen. Hi, doggy. I got a baby and I will use him as a weapon. That is true. That's literally what happened in this scene.
That's what happened.
Oh my God,
they picked him up.
There's this, you go into this nursery and that's when you realize that the corporation is literally giving babies this compound to make them super people. And then some
compound V.
Right, the corporate security guards come in and the two, Butcher and his dude, is like, well shit, we gotta get out of here. So he literally grabs one of the babies whose eyes was glowing and makes the baby shoot lasers out of its eyes to kill the dudes. So he's literally...
It was awesome. It was the best moment ever.
Literally using a baby as a weapon.
I snickered so hard. I was like, Shango woke up and Shango was like, what's happening?
Shango's like, why are you screaming? Why is mom screaming?
Shango was like, what's going on? What? So yeah, it was great. I mean, I love that. It was so funny because I mean, Jay was laughing because we were watching it together at the same time, but we were DMing each other during it, and we're just having hysterics. And we're like, "Did you fucking see that?"
I mean, because
like,
pictures are good.
Shooting big pew 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 pew.
Oh my God, it was so funny. Oh my God, it was so funny. It was that was a.
I wanted
really
somebody to make a gif
scene.
of that so bad. It was like, please, if somebody doesn't make a gif, I'm gonna have to.
I know. Hang on.
Hi, you. I love you.
Aw, Ducky's so cute. See what happens when this is what happens when you live stream things. Hang on. when you live stream things. Nope, that didn't make it any better. I tried. Jay, get back here. Get back here, Jay. Get back here. You get back here right now.
He's like, I'll try, but you got this. Bullshit. Get your ass on.
Oh, okay. Well, if he's just gonna be like that, that's fine. That's fine, Jay. It's good. I'll fix your screen. It's fine. But yeah, no, it was that was one of my favorite scenes. What else was a favorite scene of mine in this? I liked that whole, oh my God, when she killed that guy. Pop Claw. Was that her name? The almost Wolverine type character?
Pop Claw.
Oh my God. Okay.
The porn star.
The Pop Claw, the porn star.
The porn star. Do not forget that portion of it, please.
That's yeah. So there was this superhero, and she
A-Train.
She was in an unhealthy relationship with A-Train, who was the wannabe Flash. Jay gets no fedora if he doesn't come back. I'm gonna tell him that. I'm gonna get him.
Dude. Hey.
Get him. And they're not in a good relationship because A-Train doesn't want to kind of recognize that they're in a relationship because whatever corporate pressure bullshit, whatever, you know what.
Well, I mean, how does it look for one of the 7 to be dating a porn star?
That I guess. It doesn't.
I guess even in that world, it's the same kind of
bullshit. Anyway, so she's
having... it's like if she was a dominatrix. I mean, I guess it's the same difference, right?
She kind of was.
Yes, she was.
So she takes so when
there are stories to be told.
There are so many. There's gonna be fan fiction.
Fan fiction? Yeah, that's. But there's like other real stories to be told about that shit.
That is also true. So when Soups take Compound V, it's pretty much like they're taking like heroin or cocaine. Like it's not. And that's one of the reasons that A-Train killed Huey's girlfriend, is he was so drugged up that day he literally couldn't control himself, and so that's why he just ran right fucking through her. So it's not
literally.
Literally ran right through her. So it's not really healthy for them to take this Compound V once you have your superpowers. But A-Train's like addicted. He's like determined to be the fastest man or whatever. So whatever, he's addicted. But then his girlfriend takes it because she's, whatever. She sees him on TV. He doesn't admit that he's his girlfriend, whatever. She's having a moment. So she takes it, and then her landlord comes up and he's like, yo, where's rent? And so she pulls the whole, she's trying to seduce him. And it works until she sits on his face a little too hard.
And snaps his neck.
You should be afraid, bro, Fuchsias. I feel like you should be afraid, because
dude,
she made his head explode. She didn't just snap his neck. she's literally sitting on his face. It's hilarious scene talking about, yeah, eat my ass. And then
oh my lord, right?
And then she
I have
sits
never
on
in
his
my life-
face too hard, and his head literally fucking explodes. It's like, show
It was
out of control.
it was a moment where you just kind of go, damn.
Yeah.
Damn. I mean, I sat there and watched it, and I was like, did that just... Did she use her claw? No.
She just, I mean... So
Dude,
fellas,
I heard the snap, but yeah, you don't want that, guys.
Fellas,
Like,
be careful.
really.
Next time she's got you between the thighs, fellas, find out if she's on that compound V. Because if she's got you between the thighs
if she is,
and she's
be
on
careful.
compound V, you gonna die.
Yeah.
You gonna die. You are definitely gonna die. I liked the superhero support, not the superhero, the normal support group of what happens. He just couldn't handle it. Now at least the rent is free. That's true.
There is that. Yeah.
There is that. Yeah. So there was this support group for humans who had dated superheroes or had just been saved by them and it went wrong.
Yeah.
That was
And how often does it go wrong? There was a lot that went wrong.
Yeah.
They got hurt in the action or whatever it was.
Yeah, some poor woman, she got quote unquote saved, but in the process of saving her, like he snapped her spine. Which again, these are like real, like if you just give people superpowers and you don't teach them how to use them, that's
appropriately.
Yeah, like right, anything. That's what would happen. This one dude, he was just dating a superpowered lady, and apparently at a moment of climax, she could freeze. So she froze his poor. This man has no more. His penis is no more.
He got bobbatized in his own way.
He got bobbatized accidentally, and it was all accident. They was fucking, and she
was having fun.
Yeah, and she did her little frozen thing, and there you go.
And there it was. There it went.
I've been wondering about superheroes and sex ever since I saw Hancock. When he was having sex and his sperm went through the ceiling of his mobile home. Does a woman want that? No woman wants that.
No woman wants that. No
woman, don't do that.
No.
Don't do that. That's too much.
No.
That's way too much. Yeah, I felt so bad for that man.
I was like, no.
Yeah. Oh my god. So it's dangerous in those streets, fam. Dating superheroes in that world, and again,
right?
that's sad, and I feel like really, really realistic. Really like
it was
just a little too
scary.
rough one night, and then shit happens.
and then you have Starlight, whose eyes.
Yeah, I was actually a little nervous that she was going to blind him in that scene.
I was waiting for the little glow to go, woo, baby. I mean, come on.
Yeah. That's why I'll never date Elsa. That's good. That's smart, Rapper Don.
Right?
That's really, really smart. That is really.
None of us wanted to date
None
Elsa.
of us want to date Elsa. No. Yeah. So I don't know how it's going to go. So they set up the world really well.
They
did really well for a season 2 type situation. Yeah. So Homelander was kind of contained throughout the season, but slowly getting more creepier, and he was kind of being good boy and doing what he was told, but he was making a lot of moves in the background. Like, I actually thought it was Vought that was giving the serum to terrorists in order to because that's the move, right? And that's what governments do all the time. It literally, they create a problem so they can offer a solution, right? So I thought Vought was doing that. So in order, they were trying to get their superheroes to the military, and the military was like, no, fuck that, because they're loyal to you, they're not loyal to the country. Fair.
Exactly.
Yeah, but then all of a sudden you find out that there are now superhero terrorists, so you don't have a choice now. Now you have to put superheroes in the military to deal with superhero terrorists. And I thought that was Vought, but you find out it was really Homelander that was doing that on the DL. And I was like, oh shit. And I feel like that's when you realize that your pet project might be a little out of control. And what do you do when you have a Superman and you ain't got no kryptonite?
Okay. Let's take it back one moment though. Remember the one scene when she's like, "Come to mommy."
Oh my god, that was God. So the Elizabeth Shue's character was like,
God
oh my
damn
god,
it.
that was creepy.
God damn it. That was like fucked up shit.
Oh my god. So Elizabeth Shue's character was the one of the heads of the corporation. She's kind of in charge of all the superheroes, whatever.
And she
Homelander
is the day-to-day person
Right.
to Homelander.
Exactly. And he's got a thing for her, like he stands there staring at her like all day long like a fucking creeper or whatever. And so they have so she finally realized that she's got to give him some fucking attention, otherwise he's going to like lose his shit. So she
has a baby.
And she has a baby. So she's breastfeeding. So she invites him. This goes kind of the way you think it's going to go, guys. She invites him into her office. She's got like his head in her lap, and she's got like her breast, her bra covered breast, like pressed up against his cheek, and like her fingers in his mouth. And he's about it. And I'm just like, that your mommy issues are like, but again, you were raised in a lab, so it's no wonder that you have mommy issues. But I thought that was I thought they did a really good slow burn of how crazy he was becoming.
Yeah.
I thought they did a really good slow burn with that because he unravels really well.
You know who else unravels really good though too is the Deep.
Yes.
And we haven't mentioned him at all yet, and we really should because
should.
He is
got everything he deserved.
So let's put it this way: he is very nice looking. He is really kind of he's so pretty.
He is pretty, and he's a dick.
And he is such an ass because
he's a rapist.
He sexually he sexually assaults Starlight.
Yep. Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
And she ends up she plays the game appropriately, and she basically tells them, if you're going to make me do this, I'm going to fuck you over, and this is all going to be public. Deep. So they get rid of him.
It's awesome.
Put him into
the
middle America where there is no ocean.
There's nothing. Wait, was he like in freaking Ohio or something?
Yeah, Sandusky, Ohio. Which is where there's a water park that actually has like
he's the Aquaman. He's the Aquaman of the show.
Yeah, he is the Aquaman of the show. Yeah. And he can talk to the animals. In fact, the scene where he tries to help steal the dolphin from the one like
SeaWorld place. That reminded me of a South Park episode. Oh my
I cried
god.
so hard.
Oh my god. There's this amazing, and you're right, bro, Fuchsias. A, do not fuck your wife when she's on compound. B, I thought that too about Homelander and him being Madeline's baby daddy, but thank God. Also the baby is dead. Anyway, oh my god. But
Madeline's baby's dead.
Yeah, that was a terrible scene. That was wow. Anyway, that baby got blown the fuck up. That was just damn. Butcher gave no fucks.
No, Butcher, unlike the other guys in the group who kind of are open to the idea that some superheroes can be saved, Butcher's like, they all got to die.
Yeah, he definitely has adopted that mindset.
He is basically, he reminds me a lot of the Punisher in that sense.
Yes.
He is very, you have drawn the line, that is the line is this and only this, and you have gone past it because of what you are. And it's not even what you've done, it's what you are.
Yeah.
Therefore, it is over. Right. You are dead.
That's it. If you are this, then he's that type of person that the whole group of you, there's no nuances to that. There's nothing. If you were a superpower being, you suck. That's it. Hands down. It doesn't matter. You're not. That's it. If you got superpowers, you suck. And I get it. He's got issues like Homelander with his wife. Like I get it. But he's definitely the extremist of the group. That is for sure.
He is his own terror.
Yes. Is the baby dead? Because what if the baby is also a result of Compound B? That's a good question. Yeah, they didn't really tell us at the end. Because at the end, Homelander goes full dark side. And Butcher goes full fucking, I'm just going to set off this bomb anyway. And in this scene, there was a baby. So, we know that the Butcher lives, so Homelander can show him
Madeline.
Yeah.
And Madeline's gone. Madeline's dead.
She dead as
shit.
She'd be dead. She'd be dead as shit.
He just like, he just heat lanced her right through the eyes.
And that, you know what? that little piece of writing, you know what? I always wonder about that because
that was lazy writing.
I thought so because my thought process is that if you are of the mindset that you are this big corporation and you are making superpowered people, right? So how is it that you
don't take precautions?
A, don't take precautions, and B, do not understand, like, you think that you as a human being and understanding who Homelander is, do not understand the leash that you have to have on him. And so that kind of, and I don't know if that was just her hubris, which is possible, but at the same time, it's like, how do you not realize that this guy is unraveling, especially when the scientist was talking to him about the effect of being raised in a lab and not having a mother? Like, how do you not see that eventually you've got a dude that you're not going to be able to control because he's just going to fucking unravel. So what's your plan B for that? I feel like she didn't know how to handle him, or I guess she overthought that if she could just, she's always going to be able to just shove her titty in his face and he was going to be down with it. Like, I don't know.
I think when she was like, I'm going to still have you day to day, even though she was going to be, being trained for takeover. Mm-hmm. I think she thought that she had the psychology set on him, so she thought she could control him. But my thing is when I realized that the psychology was never going to work with him,
right,
was the moment on the airplane.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was terrible.
That
was horrible. So there's these terrorists on an airplane, and Homelander and Maeve, Maeve's like the Wonder Woman of the group, okay? She makes bad life choices, but she's not a horrible human being. She's just one of those but she kind of sucks.
She got tired.
She got tired, but at some point, bitch, like, step up and do the right thing. But whatever. That's her.
Yeah, exactly.
She's that person that you just want to slap and be like, damn, do the right thing.
Exactly.
So they're on this plane, and it kind of goes down like you would think, okay? So they kill the terrorist, but one of the terrorists is in with the captain. And so they get into the cockpit, and they, again, no idea how to fucking defuse the situation. So the guy kills the fucking pilot, and Homelander, in his attempt to kill the terrorist, fucks up the plane controls. So now the plane
basically slices it.
He uses an eye fucking rays, and he slices it. So now the plane is going down, and there's nobody to fly it. And there's nobody, like, there's nothing they could do. So he's just pretty much like, fuck it, the plane's gonna crash, we out. And she's like, Maeve's like, come on, you gotta try to save these people, you gotta try to do this, you gotta try to do that. He's like, nope, sorry. Like, she's even like, please take these children, save them. And he's like, fuck that, then they'll be witnesses to the fact that we let this plane go down. He's like, no. So they literally just get off the plane and let it crash.
And she was having an attack of the guilt anyway through it all. So was...
Yeah, it's a really fucked up scene because they do. He just lets those people die.
And here's the thing that that really got me about it was, if you remember prior to this, he's used all his other talents. So why the heck didn't he just step up with vulnerability and just take the guy out?
Right. Because no hostage situation. Like, they don't, like, he doesn't know. Like, it's one of those where, throw a nuke at it. There's no nuances to his power. Like, even when you first saw him, it was like excessive with the way he threw those dudes around in that first opening scene where you think he's going to be like the good guy Superman coming to the rescue. It was like, damn, he threw him so far. Like, you didn't even have to do that. You probably could have just flicked him and knocked him out. Like, you didn't. So yeah, there was that. And I also think, like, that's on Vought too. Like, you're this big corporation. You don't train them? Like, there's no...
How do you not train them for...
Oh, you cut out. Say again?
Oh, I mean, how do you not train them for what you want them to do?
Exactly.
I mean, you want them to be part of the military, which means you want them to be part of hostage negotiations. You want them to be part of all this other stuff. And yet, you've not made them go through any training protocols whatsoever. What the hell are you doing?
None. Like, absolutely none. That's crazy. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me either.
Okay, now this is the one I have to ask you. What do you think actually Noir is? Okay,
so I Google things, and I know things that I probably should know because I Googled it. So in the comics, apparently Noir is Homelander. He is the corporation's response to, if they have to kill Homelander, that's what Noir is for.
Yeah.
So Noir is apparently their control boy. So he's the one that's on the leash while they're just letting Homelander run amok and be fucking crazy. So I'm curious as to what he's going to be in the TV show. now because
they show him in the same capacity at the same time.
Exactly. Well, no, I'm meaning like they're two different people, but Noir is like as strong as Homelander and can kill him. So if Homelander steps out of line, they'll just be like, Noir, come and do it. But in the comics, apparently Noir is really fucked up and actually the one that's doing horrible things, and it's not Homelander. Yes. So I'm very curious about. He is also an accomplished pianist. That scene was awesome.
He was awesome. that was rocked.
That was such a great scene. That poor guy's just playing the piano, and Noir he doesn't speak. He just walked over to the bench and he just sat down and he didn't say anything. And it's just that uncomfortable moment where that poor guy is like, "Do you want me to move? Maybe I should just move." It's like,
maybe I'll just go.
That was a great scene.
I'll just go.
I'll just go.
But
I'll just go.
You know, because one of the things that they reference is they reference another superhero in the show.
Do they?
Well, remember they talk about one of the other. In fact, you and I we talked about Brightburn, but the other character that they reference is a similar name. I think it's Brightfire or something.
Oh, that lantern guy, right? That retired. Okay, yeah.
So thing is you never see him. Never seen pictures of him. No, nothing. Yeah. So, but he had to. But the thing of it is he disappeared and nobody's seen or heard from him in ages. Yeah. So why wouldn't he be that person undercover due to obligations or whatever?
It could be. It definitely could be. Shay all day 34. Thank you so much for that follow. Welcome to the channel and happy fucking Sunday. Yeah, I'm interested to see how they go with that in the second, because I'm calling second season. You're gonna have a very interesting kind of, I guess, dichotomy between Homelander and Homelander's son. So there'll be that interesting thing of this is what happens when a superhero is raised in a loving family versus this is what happens when a superhero is raised in a lab. I'm less excited about that storyline, but okay. It could be, they might change my mind. It could be well done. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. So there's that.
Then you also have the whole idea of you have other daddy, not daddy.
Right. What kind of influence is he going to have on his, quote unquote, son, that sort of thing. She is sexy. Thank you, Shay. Thank you for that. So you've got all of that. I'm more interested to see kind of how Butcher reacts to all that. So there's definitely going to be that kind of throwdown between the two of them.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be way due.
I mean, and that's going to be interesting because of Butcher's, like you just said, he's got that, I don't care if you're a superpowered being, you got to go. Well, now the love of your life has a child that's one. So is your viewpoint going to change? And it's Homelander's kid. So is your idea about that going to change? So Rapper Don, thank you so much for that follow. Welcome to the channel. Happy fucking Sunday. So that'll be interesting to see. And, I think Starlight and Huey, they'll kiss and make up. I love Frenchie's relationship with the crazy girl.
I know, right? That was so awesome.
Oh, my God. It was so cute. That was so fucking cute. What's the black dude's name? I don't know. Black dude. I don't know what's going to happen with him. What see.
Yeah. Him and Monique.
Yeah.
Monique said,
boy, bye. She did. But
I told you what happened if you went with Butcher again.
She
was like, you put me and my daughter in danger? Screw you.
I appreciate that about her because you was lying and you put us in danger. So yeah, that's fair. That was a really, was his name Devon? I don't remember names. It might have been. But I'm interested for season 2. I'm just over the whole baby daddy thing. I felt like they could have done something different with that, but whatever.
But I think part of it is the idea that he's probably one of the very first kids who's conceived without the use of compound V being injected. So what is it going to be when a child actually inherits their power?
Okay, what does that look
remember
like? Right?
And what does that actually play out to be?
Right, because he wasn't supposed to be able to have kids at all.
Exactly.
Right.
So what is that concept like when you actually have a child who's growing up in a proper home, who was not supposed to be and shouldn't have had powers, but now does?
Exactly. That's a good question. That from that perspective, I think it could be interesting to see how well done it is. So that's what I'm looking. And yeah, I want to see what they do with Black Noir in comparison to like storyline and book. Because I have to think that even if Elizabeth Shue character didn't know kind of what the trigger point was for Homelander, I have to think the corporation has one. I just have
there has to
somebody knows what to do about this guy if he gets out of line. So,
and the thing is they had to have known that he was psychologically damaged at some point,
right?
And at whatever point that they started to do whatever, he had to have acted up at one point or another, that they had to give him certain duties, because the duties he does, when you see him call the team into order, when you see the way that he acts, everything that he does is not only scripted, but it keeps him on track with everything he does.
Exactly.
And it's that kind of thing, that regularity, that somebody who is a sociopath or who has OCD or whatever, is what keeps them on target and on track, so they don't get outside of their own head. Because the moment that they are outside of their own head, then you might as well just call it game quits, because then they're going to go off.
Right. What's up, Terrific Cal? That's true. Yeah, that's true. So it'll be interesting to see how they rein him back in now that she's dead. Elizabeth Shue's character, and then Madeline, I think it was her name, and then who steps in, as far as you know, to kind of handle that situation, because now they need a new person to deal with all the soup. So I want to see more of Maeve next season. I want to see more of her storyline. I like her. I like her kind of struggle. I like that they kind of hinted that she's an alcoholic. And that's kind of how, they give these superheroes like really real people problems, which I thought was really interesting.
Definitely.
So I definitely want to see more of her. We can see less of Deep, but he got what he deserved. So I thought that was awesome.
He got slammed hard. That girl hurt him hard. I was like, I get what he did was wrong, and he was being punished in his own way, or lack of punishment, however you want to. The whole priest with pedophilia being moved and swished around, whatever.
Right.
But what she did was just as bad as what he did.
Oh, absolutely. Without question. I
was like,
that's a terrible karma train to ride. So basically what happens is like when we say like Deep sexually assaults Starlight, Starlight's a superpowered being too, but he kind of pulls the I'm second in command. If you don't let me do this to you, then you're not going to be able to be 7 anymore. And she's got like family pressures or whatever. So it's that concept of somebody in power using their power over you in that sort of way, which was terrible. So that happened. And then, she kind of calls him out. The corporation responds because Starlight learns how to play the game, which is terrible, but awesome. She does it in an awesome way. And then Deep goes to this terrible place in Ohio, hooks up with this girl, and who basically does to him what he did to Starlight. She literally, he's got gills. When he takes off his shirt, he literally has gills. She pretty much just shoves her fingers up him and just molests him while she gets off. And I felt so uncomfortable watching that scene. I'm like, you kind of deserve it, but I'm a little uncomfortable, but this is terrible. Yeah, it gives you, I thought that was really well done, because you get a lot of mixed feelings from that scene. You're like,
and you should. And that's the whole point behind it. And I think that was the big reason, whether you were a guy or a girl, it really kind of blows your mind in a way, because you're like, oh my God, that's gotta hurt. And then at the same time too, it's also like, and gills for fish and anything else are very sexual in nature anyway.
Yeah.
And so what she was doing was actually basically squeezing and hurting his part of his sexual organs. So, and doing damage to his lungs too. So, which is double time.
Yeah, it was bad. That was so bad.
It was
bad. Hang on, I have to turn the light on. It suddenly got really dark.
Yeah, it was starting to rain here. That's probably why his power flickered and stuff. So.
Poor guy. He just left us. He just abandoned us. That's fine. He's like, I want to talk about Christianity.
Well, his internet is still out.
Oh, is it still out? Oh, no.
His internet is still out.
That's he's missing on a good discussion. That's okay. We'll have but I liked it. I like you kind of see his downfall, and that sort of stuff. A-Train has A-Train ODs, pretty much. He's being warned about that. And they were interesting. I thought they did the themes of, there's some overarching themes that I thought they did really well as far as like addiction goes, and power struggles and making these superheroes, even though they feel like things that you can't possibly beat, to make them very human and relatable. So I thought they just did. I don't know how the comics read, but I thought as far as the screen adaptation, they did just a really good job with it.
Yeah, and I think that's what it actually, from the comics, a little bit that I've read of them, it's similar in a way. The whole, you have the, not just the basically the mimicking of the human issues like that we all go through, but also their coping skills or lack of coping skills, because they've been put on this pedestal, so they never learn how to suffer or be like everybody else, or having to be taught or learn how to work through their own stuff because they've been giving so much.
Exactly.
So they don't know what it means to struggle. They don't know what it is to do X, Y, and Z. Like, I think one of the biggest part with A-Train was the fact that he really did love Popclaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he just didn't know how to handle it.
He didn't know how to handle it. He didn't know how to go to Vought about it, about the whole issue, about coming out with her, or how to do it correctly, because he was too afraid.
Yeah. And there was there was like a teenage boy immaturity about him too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. And that level of addiction as well. Yeah, it's, you know what, Pixel, it's not too much. It's really well done. So it's not the kind of the sexual assault scenes, they're there, but they're not. I don't feel like they're used gratuitously like maybe in Game of Thrones.
No.
It's not. It's not like that. There are plenty of great, hilarious, fucked up moments in this show. But I think that if you're going to tell a story like this, you have to. They would be present, unfortunately, and that says horrible things about human beings, and this is why the aliens won't talk to us. But they would be present, and I think the show treats them really well, especially with how Starlight gets her quote-unquote revenge, and how she, handles that, which perfect. I thought was, really well done.
It's really, what a lot of women would love to be able to do.
Absolutely.
Don't get a chance to do.
Exactly.
So she took basically their own game against them.
Yeah. And I thought that was really empowering as well.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Especially because, a lot of times, even if you come out and say something, it doesn't necessarily mean something will happen to the person that hurt you. And in this instance, it actually did. So I like that. And she doesn't even name him. She just pretty much says, this is something that happened to me. And then the social media train did its thing. And they were like, who the fuck hurt Starlight? Because we love Starlight. Who the fuck? And so... Yeah, I read that, bro, Fuchsius. I'm glad that they toned it down for the TV series, because I think that didn't need to happen. So I'm glad it didn't turn into and they actually... Because I think that if it had been what it was in the comics, I don't know that she would have been able to get her... the arc that she got in the TV show where it gets resolved, quote unquote. So yeah, I thought that was a really good moment. A really good moment. I liked it. So poor Deep. I feel like maybe like a little bad.
And in a way, though, I think he's also learned his lesson in a way, in such a way that I think. But at the same time, too, one of the things that you notice, and like he's going shopping, and the whole thing with the lobsters and the poor lobsters.
Oh my god, that poor lobster! Oh my god!
I was like, don't do it, dumbass! I know what's gonna happen next. Don't do it.
Oh man.
I was just like, God bless.
And this is the funny moments with Deep. Like he literally can. So he's the Aquaman, right? So he genuinely has like this thing where he's trying to help like ocean.
He can talk.
He wants to help animals. He wants to clean up the ocean. Like he even talks to Madeline about like doing something positive, and she's like, LOL, no. So he literally decides that he's just going to try and rescue this poor fucking dolphin. So he's literally like, he's got the dolphin in the back of a truck. They're driving. He's like talking to it. He's like, I got you. I'm going to help you. They're having like this hilarious conversation. And then like the cops come and he has to slam on his brakes. And he did not secure the fucking dolphin. So he
did not put the front. He did not secure it in the front. He did it in the sides, but not the front. The worst part.
Not the front. So the poor fucking dolphin goes through the fucking windshield. And then a semi-truck runs over it.
It was so bad. It was so bad. No.
That's why like the show is just out of control. Again, that's like what would happen if like I went on a rescue mission. Like if I not knowing how to do anything, like just decided I was just gonna go fucking rescue something. Like that's yeah. They don't make seatbelts for dolphins, no.
No, however,
no,
they do
don't.
when they are actually in a like the rescue vans for like SeaWorld or some of the other aquariums and stuff. There's a specialized belt that goes across from side to side, and then there's one that put in front. It's almost like a fish netting in front and back. So the movement is very slight from backwards to forwards to side to side. So there's like a give of about 6 inches.
Okay.
So you could tell that when he did it, he didn't know how to secure everything. So it was like, because I saw that, I'm like, and I'm going, where's the front security?
You're just like, this isn't gonna go well. This isn't gonna
I'm like, please don't let him speed. Don't let him speed.
Oh,
why is he speeding?
yeah,
Why is he?
no.
Oh, and I was like, at that point, I'm like telling Jay, I'm like, I cannot watch this. I know, no, closing my eyes.
It's
And he's
coming.
like, don't close it. He's like, why is it? It's gonna be bad. So yeah, but then
they
you have the
shot
lobsters.
that so well too, because the
They did
dolphin
awesome
doesn't.
with
It's
it,
a
man.
slow motion too, because like the dolphin's moving to the front seat, and him Deep and the dolphin share like this eye contact, and the dolphin looks so blissful, like he's just so happy to, and then it escalates so fast, and then the lobster.
Oh God, yeah. See the lobster scene you guys have. If you guys have ever gone into your grocery stores and gone shopping and past the seafood section, you've seen the live lobsters.
Mm-hmm.
He starts talking to the lobsters, and he sees one in particular, and he starts saying, "Hey, dude, yeah, I get you. I'll help you out. Don't worry, I've got you." And he goes and he asks for a lobster, and he goes and he tells, "No, not that one. This one up here." And so he goes. The guy grabs him. And now remember, they're live and they're got bands on their claws. And before the guy picks up a knife, he goes, no! And just as the guy goes, brings it down and cuts him right at the point. And you hear a scream, and I'm like, oh yeah, that doesn't really happen, but yeah. I have a story because it made me laugh hard. I mean, I was crying. I had tears streaming down my face because it brought back memories. When I lived in New England, I brought 2 live lobsters home to North Carolina to my family.
Okay.
My name is Harry and Henrietta. And I got everything set up for my family. We're going to get ready to cook them. And Mom wanted to make a quick run to the store, so I went with her. And my dad's like, well, I'm putting the lobsters in. He's like, how do I know when they're done? And I said, when they stop screaming. And I walked out. Now, lobsters don't scream. If you do hear a screaming or a whistling sound, it's because air is trapped underneath their shell. You know when they're done cooking because their shell turns red. So yeah, needless to say, my dad was. So yeah, so I come back. My dad's like, they didn't scream. There was like a whistle, but then the whistle stopped. I said, Dad, you can take it out. It's red. They're fine. They're.
You know what I thought it spoke to too? Poor Deep. And it's one of those things where, like, these poor superheroes, they're not really saving anybody. Like, Deep just keeps trying. Like, he's trying to save the dolphins. He was trying to, even before he got thrown out, there was some kind of park or something where the dolphin was that he was trying to save. He tried to save this poor lobster. It's just, like, it was hilarious in, like, how ineffective these superheroes are at their jobs. Like, they're not good at it.
And I mean, and when they do save people, they don't get the criminals to prosecute because they kill the criminal. So nobody gets prosecuted.
Right.
On top of that. Yeah. And then you have it where their criminologists that work with them find them the crimes to go to, and they're being followed by cameras to a point. And then they go do their thing, like kill the perpetrator, and then go, oh, we've now got to set the scene up because, you know, if they shoot at us, then we can kill them. Well, you guys already killed the dude. Come on.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's such a wreck. It's such a wreck. It's like
they did a good job because that's right. Starlight and Deep had to go on a mission together, and Starlight's doing her thing, and then all of a sudden they're fucking camera crews, and they're like, cut, break. It was just like, what just happened? Like they literally, that's what they turned it into. That's literally what they turned it into, which I feel that's real. That's yeah. So I feel like you don't want to live in this world of superheroes. I wouldn't. I'd be scared. I would be terrified that I was just gonna walk down the street and some fucking superhero was gonna run into me and make me explode.
or they'd be fighting somebody and half of it because
exactly
they went nuts because
or shit, you're just collateral damage because the superhero doesn't know how to properly diffuse a situation or some shit. Like it's just I wouldn't want to live in this world of superheroes. Like I'd rather they were the Captain Americas or this even the Superman or somebody that's got some kind of fucking moral compass or something.
Right.
Yeah, if you just give normal people superpowers, that's I mean, there's Starlight, but you wonder that if how many years of doing that, of being under Vaught's control before she becomes Maeve? Like is she strong enough to break out of that, or would she just fall in line eventually too? Like, because you know how when you start something like that, you're naive, you want to change things, you're this, that, and the other, and two things happen. You either step out of that environment. Or you become that environment, because those environments don't change, unfortunately. No. You either have to create something new or you become where you're at. So,
and I think that's part and parcel of what they were trying to show with Maeve, because Maeve talked about her biography, where she was that young, idealistic, broke her arm and never healed right when she saved the bus with the kids in it and all that stuff. And then now here she is, this woman who drinks, who gave up her lover because she realized that in order to give her lover a life, she had to let go.
Yeah.
Because the way she became to believe was the fact that she couldn't have anybody in her life in order to be able to do what she needed to do, because they could be used against her.
Yeah.
And that was like the really hardest part for me, was that whole aspect of, she honestly believed that she had to give that up in order to be able to survive. And that was the toughest part, because she didn't survive.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that was the worst part about it. And you just wanted to slap her and go, dumbass, you're not surviving. What do you think you're doing now?
Right. Yeah.
And Homelander don't want to give up nobody.
Oh my God, he's creepy.
Maeve.
He is so
Madeline.
fucking
And notice they all start with M. Like Mom. That's like it's all.
Man, yeah, I'm interested to see where they go with this. Because he's a very interesting supervillain, but he is scary to me, and I really, you and Jay really need to watch Brightburn. You really need to watch Brightburn, because he is not as scary as Brightburn. And I say that too. You just watch and you'll see, because Brightburn has some really amazing moments in it too, where you see and Brightburn is interesting because Brightburn grows up with like Superman type parents. He grows up with a very loving mother and a very
kind of like Invincible,
very present father. Yeah, but he's got some other shit going on, and there are some really powerful moments in that where you watch his humanity die for reasons. And you watch it slowly, and not even and for very heartbreaking reasons, not for bad reasons. So I'd love to talk with you and Jay about it after you watch it, because I don't want to spoil anything for you. But I think if you put Brightburn and Homelander in the same room together, Brightburn comes out.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I think Brightburn comes out. I don't think Homelander comes out of that, because Homelander is broken. Brightburn is evil.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a really big, and I don't think that Brightburn is a made evil. I think Brightburn is an uncovered evil. It's kind of I feel like that was kind of always in him. And that's what I don't know where the fuck planet he came from, but that planet is kind of like place, and I don't want to go there.
Almost like he was born immoral with things missing, versus Homelander was more environmental.
Exactly.
Sense.
I feel like Brightburn was born evil, shown kindness and love, but it wasn't enough for him.
Couldn't grasp the concept.
Yeah, not even that he couldn't grasp it, because I think he genuinely had moments where he felt those things. I just feel like that who he was stronger than that. So it's kind of like, because with Homelander, I think you saw moments like when he was talking to the psychiatrist, you saw how broken he was. Like
Oh
when
yeah.
the guy was like, "I pity you," and Homelander kind of was like, got all defensive about it. He's like, "Don't pity me. I'm blah 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 blah." Like you saw the little boy that would just
Yeah.
needed a fucking hug. You know, you saw that, and then you just watched that part of him die with Brightburn. You see those moments, but
Yeah.
it's weird. Brightburn kills Homelander. Like, yeah, I don't. Brightburn kills Homelander. Brightburn kills Bizarro. Brightburn might kill Superman. That's a good fight. Like that's a good throwdown right there.
That would almost be like, you know, having Dr. Fate versus Loki or something. So yeah.
Oh yeah, it's yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes next season. But yeah, I want to see more of Black Noir because he's like a hilarious character so far, but I feel like they're gonna turn him into something fucked up just based on what the comics are. So
Of course. Well, yeah. And Butcher's gonna screw stuff up too, because I mean it's Butcher and he's insane anyway. So yeah.
He is. And I thought that was real though. I thought, you know what? I like that they gave you a lot of not stereotype personalities, but different personalities. And I really like Huey's arc as well. How he kind of goes from this scared kid to kind of like stepping into his own. I thought was really cute. I thought they did a good job with him. We didn't talk too much about him because he's kind of just the cute comic guy that loves Starlight, but he's got a pretty good arc.
Yeah, Huey has a really good arc because he starts off with that towards a little bit more back to being because he was a hero. He was a huge fan of to instant like loss and then hatred and then going back to being forgiveness and being a fan, not necessarily a fan of superheroes, but understanding that it was more complex than he ever imagined.
Right. There were nuances to it. It wasn't the blanket statement Butcher was making it out to be.
Oh yeah. I mean, and I think that is part and parcel of what needed to be said. And I think that's actually the complex point, that the growth arc that I think that the creators really wanted to show more is that there is more to being just all bad or all good or whatever. Because I mean, when we think about things such as like Marvel and DC with these goody trouble, you know, I mean, like Marvel has their angst and not being understood, and you have like the X-Men or you have like Cap, who is the best of the best, or you have like you have the Legion of the Superheroes for DC, or the Justice League, who are lauded. And you have the fact that they somehow have managed to learn how to have this control. They somehow managed to psychologically adapt to being these heroes, having these powers. And out of them all, the darkest arcs you ever see, Batman, Green Lantern, because they have some of the roughest points there. You have in the X-Men, you have the back and forth, some of them good and bad throughout whatever time, Rogue, for example. But yet at the same time, you don't see a lot of the dark aspects of the psychological brokenness of what happens if they just never ever get well, or what if they just can't handle the whole aspect. Right. And I think that's one of the things where, like with indie comics, like when you see like the Invincible, that just finished recently with Mark and Adam Eve and all that, where Invincible's dad was on Earth, and he was the quote unquote one of the heroes, and you find out that he was actually sent to Earth to help prep it for takeover. And Mark's like, no, Dad, I will stop you. And he becomes a genuine hero. But his dad, for the longest time, was like, no, to help bring it to, where I'm from, the planet I'm from. That's where we all do, is we go to these planets to help bring it under control. My job is to bring Earth under control. And it was just like, what? So when you get to that issue where that happens, and you're like, oh shit, he's got to face his father. And you realize that the guy that you were looking to as being hero dad, teaching his son how to be a hero, is a fucked up.
You're not a hero.
And it takes you in this whole different realm. In fact, it's actually one of Jay and I's favorite series. And it was just like, shit. What do you do?
That's a good question. That's a really good question.
Yeah, and if you have Comixology, and you have the unlimited, some of this series is actually free right now for you guys to read. So you can read like the very first, I want to say the first 5-6 volumes. So yeah, you can get really started into it. And it's like, you get to a point and you're like, damn it, people, what the hell? So it's
awesome.
Yeah, like, especially when you find out that his dad eventually, ends up off world, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens, and then he finds out that he ends up having a half brother who's growing abnormally fast. And,
oh shit!
Yeah, there's so much involved.
That's a lot of fuckery. That is a lot of
It is, but
awesome.
it's funny because it relates well to how this is with that whole psychology aspect. So
nerds need love too. Thank you so much for that follow. Welcome to the channel.
Yeah.
Happy fucking Sunday. I like that.
Woo-woo.
I like that. You know what, too? You know what? When you put Huey and Butcher side by side, too, I like that arc even more because Huey went through the same thing that the Butcher kind of did, where they both lost somebody because of a superpower person. And I thought it was really interesting because it really speaks to that I feel like you don't know how you're going to react to a situation until you're put in it. Like, I can sit here all day and think that I really hope that I reacted like Huey, where I went through my process. Like, I went through the anger and the grief and the denial and the whatever, and maybe I got my revenge and then I felt really bad about it or whatever. And then you would hope that you rounded out and you did not take a whole group of people and was just like, fuck them, I hate them all. But you never know. Like, if a superpower person, like, kills my girlfriend tomorrow or my mom or my brother or somebody I really care about, would I have the mental fortitude to be as nuanced as Huey eventually becomes, or would I just be like Butcher and be like, nah, fuck these people? Like, you know what? You always hope. So, and I thought that they played that out, really well because Huey definitely takes that journey. I think Starlight helps a lot with that. I feel like if Starlight hadn't come into the picture, he would have been more like Butcher because the rest of those, they really fucking suck. But she kind of showed him that there were those nuances. So if you don't have that, like Butcher didn't have that. He didn't have that nuance. It was pretty much like all he saw was how horrible they were. So,
but that was also because Butcher had that other operative that helped him.
That other lady. Yeah, Mallory, right?
Mallory. Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah, he got sucked into the worst of the worst. So it's kind of one of those, if that's all you see, then that's kind of, it's very hard for you to have a different perspective, especially when you're trying to cope with like grief and loss and not knowing what happened to somebody that you care about. So I get it. So I think Huey, and Butcher are going to butt heads a lot next season, in addition to Butcher having to deal with the fact that the love of his life has a superpowered kid. Good luck with that fucking baby drama.
And he's not like a baby, and he's like what, 8 now because she's been gone for 8 years.
Yeah, God, he looked older. I would have thought that he was like 12, but you're right. I guess he is just like 8.
No,
right?
He's like around 7-8 years. She's been gone for 8 years. Plus, you figure he had to have been like super. So you figure he probably developed a little bit faster than normal. So
he does look that, because when he looked like a 12-year-old kid. That's what I thought. I didn't think 8 or 9, but yeah. So
now the one thing that I will say about really kind of I think it's one of the reasons why I had issues with Homelander and why it kind of he triggered me in places, being a survivor for rape, plus just being a fan of comics that I am, is that they did a spot on check hairstyle wise of everything of how Cap looks in Cap 2, Winter Soldier. So when you have that whole look going on with the cut hair with the bleach and the cut perfect, just like how Steve Rogers has his hair, how Chris Evans wore it for that, I was like, no, you no, just
she's
no.
like, no, you can't. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Now I'm gonna look at Chris Evans and be like, nah, you remind me of Homelander.
It was like when he went and had that psychotic break on the plane, and then afterwards when he was staring into his own face to watch Madeline, at that point I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have a tough time with him. I was telling Jay, I am getting whacked, triggered over Homelander. This is not going well. But
I
yeah,
could see
it
that.
was,
I could definitely see that. Yeah,
and they
I
did
feel
well
like
doing
that
that.
was probably, I feel like that was definitely the point. Like it was even when the Deep was making his quote unquote apology. I mean, what a
Yeah,
callback to Me Too that was, and all the other people that tried to make their fucking quote unquote apologies. It's like, hang on, what I gotta say? What I gotta say? All right, hang on. What are these words? All right, I got it. Let me try again. Let me try this again.
right.
And she was like,
Oh my
okay. She's
god.
like, I need you to be more sincere, and he's like, got it, more sincere. Right. Right. Like
Right?
he was literally so that's why I'm not sure the Deep has learned his lesson. I think that the Deep is just spiraling into a state of self-pity.
Oh yeah. I think
And I don't
I
know
think
I don't know that he's capable of being like, oh shit, I did something wrong. Maybe I should feel bad about it.
yeah, but you know what it is too is I don't think he actually comprehends or understands. I mean, I think he does feel bad, especially like with what happened to him. He kind of understands that portion that if I didn't like it, then somebody else doesn't like it either. But does he understand the whole concept of why it was wrong?
Right.
No. But I also think it's because he actually doesn't have that capacity to understand. And I
Right.
think that goes back to the wiring of superhero power itself.
Yeah.
Because his empathy lies with actual animals. He doesn't have the empathy that lies with.
That's very true because when it comes to dolphins and lobsters and shit, he's like, I feel your pain, let me help you. When it comes to humans, it's
Yeah.
just
He's like this with when it comes to humans, he's literally a step back. He is like, in a way, he is almost on the spectrum when it comes to humans.
mm-hmm.
And so he doesn't have that comprehensive skill of being
Yeah.
able to read them or understand them.
That's very interesting.
So
That's,
yeah, that was
that. You know what? Now you say that, I almost wish that little nuance had been explored a little bit more because that, when you look at it that way, that's a really fucking fascinating take on Aquaman's character, where you have this my relationship and what I feel is about. They're not. I mean, you kind of see that from Homelander. I get why he looks at us as like these subspecies because he even has that conversation with Maeve. He's like, why the hell are we taking orders from them? They're fucking humans. Like he's like, whatever. I'm like this massive and wouldn't you at some point adopt that personality? You know, if you're, I mean, literally, if you're, how hard would it be to check your ego if you're fucking Superman?
when you're told by humans that you are basically human superior.
Yeah.
There comes a point where you start believing their own press.
Right.
I mean, and the thing of it is that it's up to you to have the gut check ethic.
Right.
And so that's where you have to actually be able to turn around and say, no, this isn't going to be like that. And no, I'm not going to fall into that trap because that's not going to be the way to do it.
Right.
And I think that's where it's up to where most people call the moral compassing factor,
mm-hmm.
or the psychology wise, it's basically the imprint factor of what did you learn from those who you basically looked up to.
Gotcha.
So for him, it would have been the scientists that were teaching him, or the first people he worked around when he first started doing his superhero stuff. What did they say to him when he was first learning to be Homelander?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What did they do?
Yeah.
How did they act? And he never heard anything different or saw anything different. Therefore, he's never thought any different.
That's true. And I thought that was, you know what, I almost want to go a little bit more into like the different backstories because I always find it fascinating to me, especially if you drop two people in the same situation, how they could both come out of it differently, you know, and
choice.
Like, yeah. And that's really, really interesting to me because like I feel like Maeve didn't have a terrible upbringing, but yet she still got, she still lost her moral compass. And she even had somebody who loved her, and she still lost her moral compass. A-Train had his brother who walked away from him, who was like, I can't even fuck with you anymore if you're going to stay on these drugs, like I'm done with you. Which is, I feel like, really reminiscent of, somebody, family members
tough love.
Family members having to deal with somebody who was addicted. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, these superheroes, while they weren't, all trained on how to be super, they didn't all have shitty upbringings, I don't think. So it's like, it's very, it's very, very interesting that why is A-Train an asshole? Like, you ain't got no mama? Nobody told you, like, the fuck? Like, where your family at? Where are Maeve's friends?
Yeah.
Did she get rid of all of them? Like, what the fuck? So I want to see some more superheroes in this world, too. Because Starlight's mom, like, brought her up in that type of, it's almost like, those moms who have a special kid and they want to put their special kid in all the pageants and they want their...
She's a stage mom.
Right.
Oh my
she's
God.
one of those horrible fucking parents that are not, she's not a bad mom, but she kind of is in that she's forcing her child to live this dream that's hers. It's not her child's. And she never gave her child the choice. But even so, Starlight never loses her moral compass. Granted, she's been in this world all of 5 fucking minutes, but she still didn't lose it. Like, she made the right choices when she could make them. So, and she didn't have a fucking role model. Like, she did not have one.
Yeah. Well, you got to remember, though, too, she also was part of that whole Christian community. So she actually did have role models.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
So,
even
role
though
models
she
are where
looked
you
at them,
find them
in a different light when she came back to them, but she did have.
Yes.
That was like, she was like, oh shit, they suck.
Woo!
Well,
Yeah, that was a blow up that I kind of applauded really, really hard. But that was a come to Starlight meeting, and that was well done. I think that needed to. I think the way that they played it not only played well in regards to the way mainstream media does and doesn't look at stuff of that nature, but the way that most people nowadays do look. You have those that look at Christianity in a certain way, those who look at Christianity in a different way, and the idea of being held to a certain level of judgmental calls. Yeah. And yet at the same time too, if you peel back you're doing the exact same accuse others of. Yeah. And you're just as dirty. You're just as whatever. You're just trying to whitewash yourself over it. And it's like, dude, you're just as bad as the Pharisees and the Sadducees. And oh yeah, my knowledge is probably bigger than your knowledge if you want to go head to head on it. So, and I think that's one of the things with her is that she basically busted them all out on that.
Yeah.
And basically said, you know what? No, you never were like this before. So what changed?
Right. And that's interesting to me. I wonder if they changed or her perspective of them changed, because she was very much in kind of that bubble, and then she got out of that bubble and then she kind of goes back. So it's like once you're in it all your life, and it's very hard to see, outside of that viewpoint when it's been beaten into you, or it's just like that's your everyday, right? And then you go out into the world, or you just get some different perspective, and now all of a sudden something that looked like this great thing, you're like, wow, you're kind of a dick. I thought that was a really good moment. You're right, bro, Fuchsius. When you break it down, the soups of the very meaning of absolute power corrupts absolutely. You didn't like The Hangover, Buddha? I thought it was I too. He was like, not about that baby daddy life, but okay, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I think that was an interesting thing, like the whole giving the Compound V terrorists and bring the supervillains to life, and that whole morality play that they did from start to finish, and creating the superheroes morality play isn't playing out how they really intended it to.
Yeah.
And you find out what Starlight's mom actually did to bring Starlight into the world.
Yeah. Which is fucked up. Like, she knew. And you know what? And it's a very interesting thing to me that they didn't come out and say, hey, we're making superheroes. And I thought it was interesting that they chose to make it feel like superheroes were this gift from God. And that's how it was played out. So that's why this whole, like, them finding out that the V compound is being given to babies in the guise of like a polio vaccine or something, was such a big deal, because they were playing on the fact that superheroes are just randomly chosen by the big fucking guy in the sky, and that's how. So I was like, that's interesting to me that they thought they needed to go that route. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why they thought they needed it to be, why Vought thought it needed to be like it had to be a chosen from God thing. I guess maybe because of that whole demographic that they could play to, because even if you're not a quote unquote Christian, if you think a superhero is, created by God versus in a lab, you're going to have a different perspective. So maybe it's that.
But you also have that idea of like cloning issues. You have the just stem cell issue. You have all the others. So you figure if you're having those kind of things, making a superhero in a that whole same realm, people are going to, there's ethical dilemmas that are, you're basically asking for issues right there. How do you choose?
Right.
What criteria are you going to use to make sure you get the right people to make the right heroes?
Yeah. They weren't even asking those questions. They're like, fuck it, give it to everybody. Let's see what happens. That's literally what they were doing. They were just like rolling the dice. They're like, every baby gets this. Let's see what kind of superheroes we get. Sweet.
And what they did, I mean, they basically, it's almost like they went to almost like if you go to a sperm bank, whatever, let's select what genetic markers we like and go from there.
Right.
Roll of a dice deal. It wasn't, I mean, and I think that was also part of that idea. When you do things like that, you're taking a roll of a dice. There is no guarantee.
Yeah.
And we don't have that finely lit control. And you need to realize that genetics is not that kind of way. Or, one of my favorite fictional scientists, life finds a way.
That's true.
And it's not always the way that you want it to be.
That is also true.
So, yeah. It's like, must go faster.
Must go faster. That's true, Buddha. They did have to leave with a cliffhanger. I don't know if they had to they didn't have to do that one. But it depends on how the storyline plays out in season 2. I'm willing to wait and see. I just think it's a very tired storyline. I'm tired of seeing it in books. I'm fucking really tired of seeing it in movies. I just get a little disappointed, especially when a show is so good as The Boys was, and has so much great writing and themes. I feel like to fall back on that one, it's kind of like, I mean, you could have called that. That's one of those, like, you see a mile fucking coming. So it's like you've been so smart about this TV show. Why that tired trope? So, but again, I'm willing to wait and see how they use it in season 2. So,
yeah, that's going to be part of the interesting thing in that, because what you do for season 2 to keep it both landed where you want it to go, but at the same time take it in a different direction. It's not the same one without ruining that same story.
Right.
Where, one, you have to keep your continuity straight, and 2, God, please keep the continuity straight again, because I will really a bitch about it.
Yep.
And 3, don't do the same old, because the same old won't get you anywhere. It'll trash your rating. And then 4, what can you take in the same vein and twist and make it different that will actually grow in a better way for season 3, if you plan on season 3.
True. True.
I mean, and that's, I mean, in most times when they're planning this, they usually plan it for 3 with trilogy arcs kind of set for it. So it's kind of that makes you wonder how and why.
Yeah, we'll see.
So yeah,
we're gonna see. But yes, overall, I enjoyed the series a lot. I thought it was a lot of fun. I definitely did. I thought it was a lot of fun. I don't think it missed too many steps. It held my attention really well. I liked the characters.
Yeah.
I'm invested in them. There's no characters that I really are just like, oh, Jesus Christ, get off the fucking screen. There's characters that you love to hate.
Right.
I thought they did a really good job of giving all the characters their quirks, even though they're kind of mirrored off of superheroes that we kind of know and love. Overall, I think, the acting was really good. I thought the writing, aside from that stupid baby daddy shit, I thought the writing was really good. I'm kind of sad Elizabeth Shue is dead, because I really liked her. I miss seeing. I realized I miss seeing her on screen. So I'm kind of sad that she got her fucking head fucking laser beamed to death. So, bitch, I don't know how you not see that coming though. How did you not see that coming? I don't know.
And I think that's part of that issue. I think is the fact of, you had to have known he was going to eventually turn on you, because he's already pissed off about.
Yeah.
He hated the baby.
Yeah, he did hate that baby. And that was pretty clear. That was I don't know how she fucking missed that he hated the baby. And I thought that maybe she kind of understood how fucked up he was when he told her at the party that he was the one that had made the super terrorist. And that's when I realized that it wasn't that, it was actually him. And I was like, oh shit, really? And I thought that, I was like, oh shit. I mean, she stood there with her back to him for so long. I expected the next scene to be her on the phone with that other dude, like her boss, like, we got a fucking problem. But that didn't happen. So again, I don't know where the fuck her head was at with that. So I don't know.
She thought she gets to control him.
Yeah, I don't know if it was, and I kind of walk a line with that, where is this like a dumbing down of a character for plot, or did she just really have that level of arrogance? And I'm kind of left, I don't know about that one. Maybe. I feel like she should have known, but yeah, it could have been.
And I think that is probably the biggest thing I took with it, is that everyone at Vought has the arrogance of it because of that whole concept of, look what we've done, look what we've created, and we are Dr. Frankenstein.
Right.
We control our monster. And it's like, dumbass bitch, did you not read the book?
Yeah. Oh, he's a serial killer, but he would never hurt me. Yeah. Yeah, she might have had that. But you just wonder, though, because it wasn't like he slowly was unraveling right before her eyes. And he was slowly making moves that she did not want him to make. So it's like you have this child that's showing signs of rebellion, but you think that grounding them is going to keep them in their room. My mom was never that fucking dumb. I don't know about somebody else's mom, but my mom was never that type of mom that thought that if she was just never that. She didn't have that, so so that's why it's kind of like, you know see that he not stable? Like,
right?
Really? You don't see it? Because he's been disobeying you left and right, and now you find out that you did not tell him, and this wasn't a little thing, like he was literally having A-Train run shit around the world behind their backs. So at this point, I'd have been like, there might be a problem, but that's you a serious level of arrogant that you really thought that you could still control him after that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Your kid kills animals in the basement, but you don't tell anyone because it's your baby. That's bullshit. Yeah, it's true. It's true. That's real talk. That's real talk. All right. So, what are you looking forward to most before we wrapped up in season 2? What does this series need to do to keep your attention?
It needs to give me more crisis tension between Homelander and Butcher, but it also needs to give me more tension between Butcher and his teams.
Okay.
But also at the same time, it's also got to give me some downtime, because it's got to give me a way to relate the team back together again. Because if they don't keep that team together, then who are they going to bring aboard to help keep that team going?
Right.
Does Mallory come back aboard?
Right.
Do they end up bringing somebody who to Popclaw or somebody else that's been affected? Because one, they're going to have to bring in new characters anyway.
Right.
Because they're going to have to start replacing some of the ones that have gone.
Right.
So we're going to get some more, but you also have to deal with the fact of Homelander has got to be dealt with.
Yeah.
Does Maeve step up and does Maeve take a lead? Does Maeve actually become the reigning queen of the 7?
Right.
Does the Deep ever get forgiven? Right. Does he just get washed off and whatever?
Yeah.
And that's the other thing is, please don't let that subplot go away. It has to be dealt with, because that's a big thing that happens. They have a tendency to push off a subplot and then not deal with it, and it needs to be dealt with. It needs to be dealt with properly. Otherwise, you're basically saying to every victim out there that, whatever.
Yeah.
Who cares?
True. Very true. Yeah, they handle it really well up until that point, so it does. It needs even if it's Deep goes off into the ocean and never comes back or whatever, but the last time we saw him
gets eaten by a shark.
Right, or something. Yeah, they need to close that out. So I hope they do. They do. Yeah.
Let him, get in trouble with a cop's daughter and get shot
or something. Right. Yeah, whatever. Just something. Close it out.
So yeah.
Close it out. Yeah. I need to see this shit with Homelander not be a typical baby daddy situation.
Right.
Yeah, I really want that handled with some creativity. And I don't know how they're going to do that, but you fucking painted yourself into this corner, so fucking deal with it. Yeah, I can deal with it. I want to see, I think they do a really good job of making the superheroes very scary and making the odds against the humans feel almost impossible. I want to see more of a little balance about that. I feel like we are always going to be able to. I feel like we should always feel like the boys are the underdog, but I want to see them take on more superheroes in ways that I think are plausible. So I want to feel like there's an ability for the humans to actually fight back against this, because right now I'm not seeing one, which makes it interesting, but almost a little fatalistic, you know? So it's kind of like that. So I'd like to see them balance that out a little bit more. I want to see more superheroes in this world, because I like the interesting stories that you could tell with them. So we've been seeing a lot of broken, fucked up superheroes. I think I want to see a little bit more creativity with that too. Definitely with who they bring into this world and how it's kind of playing out. I think there's a lot of world building that they can do, where they can make this as big as it is. Because I remember they showed a map with all the superheroes that are everywhere, and then you just have this 7 who are like Vaught's champions, but there are still superheroes out there. What are they doing? Like, are they just going to superhero pageants? Are they saving people? Are they not saving people? Are they just fucking like arm wrestling?
And are some of them
right?
And are some of them licensed by Vought and just in other areas until they're called ahead?
Yeah. I'd like to see that. I almost would love to see like some kind of like Civil War type situation where you got good superheroes dealing with the bad ones. I'd be down with that. I'd be down with a whole lot of people going up against Homelander or whatever, or trying to, or that sort of thing. Definitely more Maeve. I definitely want to see more of her story. I think she was kind of underutilized, like a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. I thought a little bit more. Yeah. But yeah, I just don't want them to let me down with this fucking baby daddy shit. Don't let me down with the baby daddy shit. Don't do
that. It's like billionaire baby bash kind of thing. I'm like, please don't do that.
Yeah, please don't do that. I don't want to be able to call it. That's where I'm at. I don't want to be able to predict what's going to happen with Homelander and his son. I want them to shock me the way they did with the fucking dolphin and the lobster and the fucking baby getting used as a weapon, and that, and the way it started with A-Train just running through that girl out of nowhere. I was just like, did that just happen?
I was like, at first I was like, what?
I was like Huey in that moment. I'm like, wait, what just happened? Is she dead? Did he just fucking kill her? I want more of those moments. I definitely want more of those moments, because the writing has been too smart. So if they fall off in season 2, I'm going to be really upset.
Definitely. I think that's the big thing is getting more of a balance, bringing some of the goody two-shoe kind of type on.
Yeah.
Seeing how they react with the ones that are off balance that plays.
Yes, definitely. Because, we've seen it. Okay, 90% of superheroes are shitty. I got it. Who's not? Let's meet some of them too. So like, this doesn't need to be Game of Thrones, where this world is just depressing and dark. Or maybe I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what kind of tone they set for season 2.
Yeah.
So, Sin, where can people find you? Tell them how they can connect with you and your awesome insight. You're gonna come back on the show, by the way. We're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about woo-woo shit the next time I have you on. It's gonna be great.
Oh,
yeah.
We're gonna talk woo-woo?
We're gonna talk woo-woo shit. I know, because you know about all kinds of stuff. So yeah, we're gonna talk woo-woo shit next time you're here.
So you can find me online at sonara.com. If you want more woo-woo shit, it's under my other name, which is Xander, AELXANDER.com. I'm also on Twitter at Sonara. So yeah, you basically can find me there harassing anybody and everybody. It's a skill.
She's good at it. We talk voodoo. We can talk the tarot. She knows a lot about the woo-woo stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna harass her in DMs later. We'll nail down the topic and we'll talk the woo-woo stuff, since Jay just left us. There was a Jay. There's his information. It's on the screen. You should talk to Jay. Jay's cool. No, we fucking love Jay.
Jay is awesome.
Jay is awesome. Jay has me moderating again for an upcoming show. So
Special events.
I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it yet, so I won't say anything. But I get to put my moderator hat on again, which I'm very excited about, and I'm very excited about this battle that I get to moderate. So that's happening.
I'm excited.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be super fun. I like putting on
Especially
my moderator
since he's
hat.
since he's deliberately trying to put me off balance.
He is trying to put you off.
Really?
I know. She's like, whatever,
Both of mine.
whatever. So it's one of those two where it's one of those battles where like I don't care who wins. I'm just like tell me stuff about these characters. I'm excited. Thank you, Rapper Don. Love to have you here. All right, I'm going to take a break, guys. When we come back, we're going to do some gaming. I'll probably play some Division. I got to level up and shit, so we're going to shoot people. We've been just talking about having a moral compass. I'm going to get in the violence of video games and fuck. Seriously, video games do not cause violence. The 90s called. No. They want their fucking scapegoat back. Seriously, stop it. Shut up. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got.
Or if you did like in the 80s, it was like the
And I love how it's always video games. It's not like Hollywood. It's not like the violent fucking movies that come out.
In the 80s,
it's video games.
In the 80s it was the Dungeons and Dragons. So yeah. Oh, that was blast and a half. I was like, really? Seriously? Yeah. It's not video. Rona Jaff's Monsters and Mazes.
Missile Command forced me to nuke city. Yo, Civilization just made me think I could take anybody's house.
I'm good at it.
Bruh, my neighbor's in the basement. I just roll up to his house. I was like, Civilization, motherfucker. I did not do that. Don't be like my name. No, I didn't do that. Don't clip me later. Be like, Crystal said that she killed her neighbors. That's not what happened. All right,
it's like a friend of mine said, if there's ever a zombie apocalypse, I'm coming to come get you because you're the only person I know that can do aromatherapy, grow things, make soap, and is a trained medic and can cook and do everything else. So yeah.
You make soap too? Bander. You got to get together.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to invite you to the Discord because Bander also makes soap. I have it behind me, Bander's soap, which is awesome. So
awesome.
Yeah, y'all can create soap notes. That's fucking kick-ass.
I do. Yeah, I make soap. I do all the aromatherapy products. I make lotion, creams, and body butter.
I think what I really want to talk to you about, AL, is sacred prostitution, because that is a topic that I am fascinated about, that I would love to get educated on.
We can talk about that all you want. You want to go and do the Hetera of Greece? Do you want to go and do the geishas, the sacred geishas of Japan?
Okay.
Do you want to talk in Egypt? I mean, we can talk about the whole world. I mean, when it comes to historical...
Because, see, I need to know about that stuff for book research. So, yes, you're going to be back on stream. Like, next week, we're going to talk about that shit.
Okay,
it's done.
You got me.
You're gonna educate. You're gonna educate the shit out of me and everybody else in the stream about this. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh, it'll be fun. I mean, I love talking about when it comes to the sexual world and the ancients and all of that stuff. Actually, mythology and when it comes to sexuality and such like that. That's actually two of my biggest pieces of research that I did a lot of. Oh gosh, like close to 4 years of study on. So yeah.
True. Hey, shit does come in handy because once you got base, everybody fucking smells, bruh. And cleanliness is a big deal. So not only do you need a Darrow, you also need a Sin.
Yes.
Okay. Bander knows stuff. All right, fam, we're going on break. We'll be back. We're going to come back, play some Division. I'll get some people to jump in with me. Everybody say goodbye, Sin. Thank you for coming. You were awesome.
Yay! I'll be back, I promise.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring her back, guys. She's awesome. All right, we're going on break. We'll be back. We'll be right back. As soon as I find my break screen, where is it? I found it. We're back. Okay.